Okay. Breaking. Official police reports indicates that in excess of 3 million patriots are on the streets of London. Holy, 3 million people. They're packed in there like sardines. I would be so nervous in that crowd. Oh my God. It keeps going. Holy crap. Oh my God, it keeps freaking going. There's so many people. Holy. How was this organized? Oh my God. Holy. Okay. So, yeah. And in the aftermath of that, let's see here. I have a video for us to watch. It's this one. The people won, Kerm Stalmer and Corporal Losers rage as millions protest against corruption in London. So this is from Hero High. We have a couple Hero High videos to watch today. So this is the
So here's
first
something
one.
rather amusing. The corporate media is once again...
Hang on, let me turn up volume real quick. Why doesn't this like save my option right there?
smearing people for standing up to government overreach, for standing up to corruption. In this case, over in London, we
You're from
currently
the
have
UK?
the
Have
Unite
you
the
seen
Kingdom
anything
protest,
like
which
this?
we'll be talking extensively about in this video. But as you can see here, the corporate media is trying to define this protest as the far right. Far-right
course they
people
are.
are gathering together, hundreds of thousands of far-right people in London. Now, the fact of the matter is, most of the people attending this rally are actually either apolitical, and they're just sick of what Keir Starmer has been doing, and those corrupt politicians around him as well, and just your normal, average, everyday conservative. But of course, standing up to Keir Starmer, standing up to government corruption, well, that's just something the far right would do, according to the...
Okay, let's read the titles of these. Thousands fill London streets. Correction, millions. I just saw the footage. There was way too many people there. I would feel so uncomfortable in that crowd. I have bad social anxiety, and it's really bad when I'm in a crowd of people. That would have been like my worst nightmare. Hang on, I got a comment here I want to read. I loved Charlie. I disagreed with him on more things than I agreed with him, but I loved what he did. But I think he could have practiced a bit better. There were times where he was distinguished and conceding to get views and get bigger, but also at the end of the day, he made sure people who disagreed with him to be the first heard. Anyone. High profile or not, could have been where he was going to be, prepared their argument, and presented it to him and his entire audience. I really liked the way that I do have dyslexia, I know. I do like the way that Charlie organized his like debates and stuff like that. That I didn't really watch a lot of Charlie. I have seen like clips of him and stuff in the past, and there was like an ad floating around on YouTube where I remember the beginning of it. He said, "My name is Charlie Kirk and I love America," and then he would go on to like promote what he was doing. But other than that, I haven't seen a lot of what Charlie would do.
the corporate press and those who would shill for them. Also, these corpos are trying to say it's like 100,000 people. Yeah, no, try at least 1 million people.
Yo, I
So
saw
let's check
videos.
out some of this protest, shall we? Here's some
here we go.
ground coverage from GB News.
The numbers are huge here now, and in fact, there's still thousands more actually coming down the steps in
Wait,
Waterloo
this was-
behind us. There is thousands and
There was a protest supposed to take place on September 13th or 14th. One of those 2 days. This was the protest. I didn't realize how big this was going to be.
thousands of every flag from across the British Isles, and I do say the British.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at that flag. That's kind of cool. Hang on. Go back.
There is thousands and thousands of every flag from
Look at that flag. It's got a little bulldog on it.
across the British Isles, and I do say the British Isles because there's lots of tricolours flying there as well.
we're going to return to GB News and that gentleman there doing the reporting. But I figured I'd give you guys another different angle here of the protest. You clearly see this crowd is huge. This protest is immense. Oh, there's the aerial view. Yeah. It's been reported that there are, some saying 1 million people.
I love the buildings in Europe. They look so beautiful. We don't have anything like that in America. We have some old buildings, but they're usually around old areas. So like we have some old buildings in Belton, Texas, just because Belton has been there for a very long time, but nothing like this. We don't have buildings that are just this badass. They're so cool.
Some even saying upwards of 2 million people.
They've been there
But
a lot
according
longer,
to the corporate press, by the way, they're trying to say there's only like 100,000 people here, which is such a freaking understatement.
Yeah, there's an old courthouse in Belton that looks really cool. They got like statues out front. They have, I think they turned it into a museum actually. I'm not sure, but I just love architecture like this. It's so cool. I want to visit Europe once things die down. I think that would be
And
so
that's
much
not the
fun.
only spin they're trying to do on this. They've also tried to say that this protest is actually the counter protest, which it's not. The counter protest was actually just like a few thousand people at tops. And I'll show you that too. You'll see the evidence of that. Anyways, back to the ground coverage. Oh, and first, I do apologize. The helicopter in the background gets a bit louder here, but this clip is only like a minute long, so please do bear with me. And then we'll have
get ready for
more
your
coverage
eardrums.
without
They
the
might get blown
helicopter
out.
noise right afterwards.
Why are you here?
We're just think enough is enough with the UK. We're fed up of illegal immigration. We're not racist. We're not against immigration. We're not against people living in this country and working. We're just fed up of everything that Starmer's doing.
Oh, Keir Starmer, what will it take to put things right with Keir Starmer? I don't want to.
I like how my reaction was the same as this dude. Like we just
I know exactly what's going through that man's brain. But yeah, everybody is sick. They're not sick of immigration. They're sick of uncontrolled immigration and just letting anyone through. And it's people are just sick of it. Ah, frick. They seem to have the same grievances as Americans do. Yeah, I would say so. I think this is happening everywhere. It's happening in Japan. It's happening in Korea. It's happening in Canada. It's literally happening all over the world.
start laughing. Probably a lot of you viewers too start laughing instantly at that one. That was great.
I don't want to answer that, but we just need to get our identity back. Me, as a proud Englishman, proud of my country, and now I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed. You feel ashamed to fly your flag. You're not proud to be British anymore. We're losing our identity as a nation. We're appeasing everyone else, but
They got a Borderlands 4 ad here in the background. That's probably the perfect place they could have set that up.
not looking after the people that live here.
It's crazy how simply saying that you care about your country and you're unhappy with Starmer's policies on immigration and how Starmer's treating his own people and that you care about the people of your country, how saying stuff like that will get you labeled like a violent far-right extremist or a Nazi, whatever, you know, fascist, whatever buzzword they feel like using at that point in time. Meanwhile, the people saying those sort of things are propagating actual violent rhetoric like this weirdo who got elected as Oxford Union president a few months back.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And
I've never
Cyprop
seen
will argue
anybody
that
wear a dread cap with a suit before.
at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. This view, the view that some institutions are too broken, too aggressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary.
Any means necessary, huh? And just the other day, this same union president-elect
I
will
don't have
be...
the full context of what he was talking about, so I'm not gonna say anything. I don't know what he's actually mentioning.
disciplined for mocking Charlie Kirk's
But
passing
still,
just
any
months.
means necessary. is still very open to interpretation by crazy people that basically it encourages them to kill people.
After they debated face to face, he had made a number of disparaging remarks towards Charlie Kirk, celebrating what happened to him, including this one right here, where he laughs. Now, returning back to Unite the Kingdom, we've got the BBC, legacy media, and liberal left want you to believe this man protesting in London today is a far-right Nazi. They actually call him that daily. This is why they're so disingenuously insane. Well, let's take a look at this clip now, shall we? 16 seconds on this one.
I have to come and support the event, uniting the whole country, bringing everybody.
I love this man. I haven't heard his opinion yet, but I love everything that he's wearing.
Together.
He looks like he looks like he would be like the #1 fan for like a football team. Like, you know, if you like watch the Kansas City football game, you'll see somebody in the stands who's dressed like this, just in Kansas City themes. That's patriotic. I love when people are proud where they live. I do too.
The 4 nations together, that's why I dress up and then come and support. I'll be integrated, so I have to respect the culture, the people, and then good governance.
Look at that outfit, man. Somewhere out there, there's BBC journalists seething, and others probably trying to say that he can't actually be black and saying these things. I'm also referencing yesterday's video where a gay black man had expressed sadness for what happened to Charlie Kirk, despite the fact that he was also a leftist. This gay black man was a leftist, and the other leftists were saying that he can't actually be sad for what happened to Charlie Kirk and be gay and black. They literally pushed that guy out of the party. And he made a video talking about it. The BBC, legacy media, politicians, and the liberal left keep on trying to tell you that these 3 people in London yesterday are far-right Nazis. That's how disconnected from reality.
I bet that dude is quite the hoot at a barbecue.
They truly are. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're disconnected from reality so much as they are just overtly lying and trying to manipulate people. I think they know very well what they're doing, and it's disgusting, and they don't care.
Real, live, and raw. Why are you here today?
I'm here in support of our country, our British patriots,
This is flag
and
in the
also
background. I'm not knowledgeable on flags and stuff, but I don't know what this flag is. It looks like it looks like the Gryffindor flag from Harry Potter.
solidarity with our American friends and free speech, especially following the death of Charlie Kirk. It's so important to be here today and just to be with fellow patriots and just to have a voice and show this government that we can still have our free speech. It's so important. We don't want to lose our free speech.
That's amazing. Someone said in my comment section that this whole gathering is a gathering of far-right racist scum, and they said,
oh my god,
why would I want to attend something like that? So what do you think about them calling this whole group far-right racists?
Absolutely not. I think if you're from our country and you love our country, there's nothing far-right about it. There's nothing.
I'm sure if you looked into this crowd and these people actually looked around, it would be the most diverse group of people ever. And I mean, look at here. Look at this picture. I don't see any, like, racism in this picture at all. Nobody is being... There's no racism at all. These people are here for one thing.
Wrong or
protest.
You shouldn't be called a Nazi just because you want to raise your country's flag. There's no other country in the world where you can be called a Nazi or far right just for raising your country's flag.
I don't know about that. I think, some people here in America would do the same thing, really.
A lot of people have had really good opportunities in this country.
Loving your own country is racist now. These accusations are as nuts as the stuff we hear here in America too. It's happening everywhere. It isn't just America. I think the UK is another big one where it's happening. I'm sorry if y'all are hearing squeaking. That's my microphone stand. I need to get a new one, or at least WD-40 this one.
My grandfather came from South Africa. He didn't get everything for free. He worked very hard. Our ancestors worked very hard and integrated, so they did all the hard.
Now, that said about weirdos in America also getting offended at people flying the American flag, I do think it's worse in Britain right now for people flying the Union Jack and saying...
Yeah, they're so in in the UK, they passed a law where you can't raise your own flag. Here in America, we can still fly our flag, and nobody really causes any issues with that. But in the UK, they're like taking down flags and like hanging up other countries' flags and stuff. And people who hang their own flag get arrested, and it's the most stupidest thing. And people are sick of it. Can't fly your own flag.
St. George's Cross, and the amount of freaks out there, including people in high positions politically and high corporate
George's
press
Cross.
positions,
I'm guessing he was a
smearing
saint or something?
the people flying the Union Jack and St. George's Cross is like Nazis
St.
and far
George's,
right and all
okay.
that. It's definitely worse for them from what I've seen right now. So yeah, you know, big shouts out to our friends overseas in Great Britain, in the UK. And now we have this complete loser, Diane Abbott, who's trying to, as usual, smear the protesters as racist, as far right, blah, 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 all that boring rhetoric that is tried and
Chat, if you don't want to be considered a Karen, don't wear these glasses. Those glasses are Karen glasses.
failed by these individuals over and over again. And this is especially amusing, though, because Diane Abbott actually, on more than one occasion, had been suspended while she was a part of Labor.
Labor suspends Diane Abbott for second time over racism comments. Party investigating after MP said she did not regret remarks about people experiencing racism in different ways. I'm guessing she said something bad about white people.
Over her own racist comments.
We used to have something like that. It was called The View. And that got shut down.
She seems to be, from what I've seen, in my opinion, just a racist individual who constantly tries to race bait people.
It's very important to stand up to fascism.
Yeah, because apparently fascism is standing up to Keir Starmer's corrupt government and what they're doing.
We need to be in solidarity with asylum seekers, and we need to show that we are united.
So, as usual,
You need
here's
to
more
show
gas.
that you're united. We had 3 million people in one small area. They were united. I don't know the population of the UK. I don't know. Was that in London or the UK? I don't know where that took place. But 3 million people, that's a lot of people in one area too. So basically everyone who disagrees with us is fascist. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. Hang on. It was in London. I want to search something up real quick. London population. Holy. London's population is approximately 8.9 million. So 9 million people, and 3 million of those people showed up to protest one thing. That's crazy. Holy. I'm sure there were some people who weren't from London there as well protesting, but still, that's crazy. That's like, it's 1/3 of them, yeah.
Where they try and label all of the illegal migrants as asylum seekers. And as I said before, while a small fraction of them are legitimate asylum seekers, the great majority of them are not. They're lying about that, or not even trying to claim it, but a lot of them are trying to claim it despite the fact that it's a lie. And many of them are actually illegal migrants.
And you said this is about women's safety and girls. Obviously, the other side say this is about that issue for them too. What's your response?
They're talking nonsense. That's my response.
Talking nonsense. Okay. So I have multiple records of women getting terrible things done to them because of illegal immigration, and then the UK government siding with the criminals and the immigrants and not protecting those women at all. I have the records to prove this woman wrong. I'm not going to show them because I'm sick of seeing it, but I can think of one right now that went viral. Was that little girl getting, the 2 little girls, they were both sisters, getting followed by an illegal immigrant trying to harass them, and then the little girl brought out a hatchet. I don't know where she was carrying it, but she had a hatchet as self-defense and threatened the guy who was stalking them. And somehow the little girl got arrested. That was over in Scotland. Yeah, that was in Scotland. Yeah, it was in Scotland.
Nonsense. And
So it's nonsense to care about the safety of young girls and women who factually, verifiably have been getting preyed upon far too many times by a number of these illegal migrants.
So I don't live in Europe or that area, but I hear they have a massive problem with gangs that prey upon young women. I will not say what they are doing to those young women because I myself don't want to hear it, but they're having a giant problem. My wife just got her green card last week. We have been trying to get it for 8 years while people were sneaking in and getting green cards and housing immediately. That's so messed up. Yeah, illegal immigration is BS and should never have happened. Yeah, I agree. We need to focus on people that are in the area, your actual citizens, and then people trying to come over the correct way. There's absolutely nothing wrong with people wanting to be a part of the UK. So say I wanted to move to the UK and I wanted to become a citizen. I don't think anyone would have a problem if I did it the correct way and I was documented. I had the green cards and everything. Nobody would have a problem with that. It's the problem of letting them just come on in and just you're letting everybody in. You're gonna let in some bad folks if you're letting everyone in. I'm worried about sleeper cells. They'll be against it until another 9/11 happens. That's kind of what happened. Oh, it happened on it happened on September 10th when Charlie was killed. It's crazy. I didn't even know what day it was. And then the next day, it was September 11th. And I was like, of course it is. Holy crap. We're going to remember 2 tragedies in a row in September. I even think something has happened on September 9th, but I'm not sure what.
Dangerous lie to try
September
and say
1st, yeah.
that men of color are a threat to women. It's a very dangerous lie.
So here's more of her
No
race
one's
baiting.
saying that.
Because, as I said, I'm sounding like a broken record a little bit now. When people are talking about the horrific things that are being done, they're criticizing these people for being illegal migrants and for doing these terrible, horrific things to...
Nobody mentions skin color whatsoever. They're just talking about their illegal immigration.
Women and young girls. They're not making it about race. They're not bringing up like the color and all that, but she is the one hyper focusing on that as she tries to manipulate the conversation and steer it away from facts.
I mean something that's actually tied directly to it, like someone snuck across the border. Yeah. I can think of some examples that have happened in America where it was after 9/11 where somehow a lot of like radical ISIS were getting in. I think that's who the organization was. It was ISIS, and they were suicide bombers, and they were bombing all over America. I remember that. I actually remember that circling around, and it was a common occurrence. Just these suicide bombers. I haven't seen anything like that since I think ISIS has fallen, but yeah, not much media coverage. Haven't heard that.
Actually, the terrible things that have been happening.
Oh, that was a long time ago. The ISIS bombings. That was a very long time ago. That's back when I was a kid.
I think we need to squash it.
Obviously, we've seen the protests around the hotels, housing asylum seekers, and the government's response. Do you have a message for the government on how they should be responding to these protests?
My message to the government is they want to keep people safe.
I want to know what this is saying down here. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is ready.
We need.
Well, obviously you don't care about keeping people safe when you don't care about what's happening to these women, these young girls. You're like literally trying to gaslight, manipulate people about this topic. Like, what a ridiculous thing for her to say.
Yeah.
To be clear that these demonstrations around hotels,
major sanctions on Russia. Oh, okay, I do remember.
Are racist demonstrations.
So you know what? I think I get it. she does want to keep people safe. She specifically wants to protect these sick freaks, these predators who've been doing horrific things to women and young girls. And
it boggles my mind. Why are you siding with criminals? I don't get it. Like, even what kind of empathy is that, where you're siding with criminals over just innocent people, even if you're claiming that it's because that's the reason they're doing it. It's empathy. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I hate empathy.
she's fine with them getting preyed on, those innocent people. And she just wants to protect the freaks that are getting away with this stuff. At least that's how I'm taking what she said. That's my interpretation of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. It should also be noted that Diane Abbott has strong ties to this group, Stand Up to Racism. You might remember this picture from some of my prior coverage, where earlier, I'll say earlier in the month, I think this was actually late last month, there were more protesters. The protesters...
I've also heard that some protesters are like paid to be there. They're like paid to do the protesting in that certain area. I don't remember where I've heard that. I think I heard Asbin talk about it.
Of course, being the people going up against Keir Starmer and what he's been doing and these immigration policies, et cetera, and protesting what these migrants, some of these illegal migrants have been doing, the horrific things that we just went over. Sorry to be so repetitive, but it bears repeating, especially for people that are not familiar with this. The point I'm getting at is this group, Stand Up to Racism, has been trying to smear the protesters and counter-protest against them, et cetera, and Diane Abbott has strong ties with that group. And in the clip that we just watched of Diane Abbott, I think she was at the Unite the Kingdom rally, Unite the Kingdom protest, and she was with a group of counter-protesters from Stand Up to Racism, I presume. We can see more of the Stand Up to Racism counter-protesters.
Wait. This happened in the middle of that 3 million crowd? Oh my god, I'm so glad nobody got hurt. I feel like the past decade of Western culture have praised criminals and criminal culture. Like when I was in high school in the late 2000s, the drug dealers were cooler than the football players. Yeah. That's why they have such an easy time siding with criminals. I remember when I was in high school, I was 2010s, late 2010s, I was in high school. And kids were just obsessed with like wanting to be wannabe gangsters and stuff like that. And I went to public school, and of course there's like every bit of people in the public school. And I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, and the school that I went to was probably less than reputable. But still, there were so many kids there obsessed with like gangsters, gangs, all types of stuff, and it's worrying.
Right here, I don't know how many people do you think this is? Maybe like, I'm going to be really generous and 50? Say 200, even though I think this is probably closer to like 100. The people like in this circle area here, it's clearly a minuscule amount compared to the Unite the Kingdom protest, maybe which, like as mentioned, some reports are saying 1 million, 2 million. I've even seen some saying 3 million, though that one might be excessive. It is a bit hard to say, but certainly within the low millions. Now, to be fair, there were more Stand Up to Racism and counter-protesters than just in that circle. However, even their own people are admitting that, at best, Stand Up to Racism probably had around, like, 15,000 people tops. And that's them trying to stretch the number as much as they possibly can, which... even some of the mainstream like corporate media has been trying, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video actually, they've been trying to like inflate the numbers of the counter protesters, which has been failing because, you know, people actually have eyes and they can clearly see that they're being lied.
Stand Up to Racism activists have admitted defeat, describing their counter protests as humiliating and claiming that Tony Robinson had over 1 million attendees at yesterday's Uniting of the Kingdom rally. Yeah, y'all are the minority.
To by the corporate media. But the point I'm getting at is here we can see this tweet saying,
if you're wondering why I'm looking down, is I have a cut on my arm, and I think it's actually a spider bite. I think a spider bit me while I was sleeping. Little bastard.
New Stand Up to Racism activists have admitted defeat. describing their counter-protest as humiliating and claiming that Tommy Robinson had over 1 million attendees at yesterday's Uniting the Kingdom rally. And so here's the part where they talk about the numbers really quick.
If we look at the numbers alone, Tommy Robinson's side seems to have gotten around 1 million, and on our side, lucky if it was 15,000. More likely 10,000.
You know, I'll at least give them credit for being more honest than so many people a part of that organization have been. So at least I can say that about these two individuals. I can't say the same thing about the Metropolitan Police, however, as they actually got caught here lying and using old footage to try and smear the Unite the Kingdom protesters.
Hey, we're living in the future right now, 2025. How do we still have cameras that are the quality of like 140p? What's going on? How have we not upgraded our security camera footage?
Metro Police UK, why are you sharing 2020 footage and passing it off as yesterday to make it look like hostile aggression toward the police from 1 million plus people that were actually peacefully protesting? And they had said, the police had said, a crowd of Unite the Kingdom protesters attempted to enter the sterile area of Whitehall that is placed to keep the two protests apart. Officers were attacked with projectiles and had to use force to avoid their cordon being breached.
So
and while the Metropolitan...
The footage that they were sharing was 2020. Yeah. This took place in 2020, and they're trying to pass it off as footage from yesterday.
Police did lock the responses, so no one could say anything directly, as you can see here.
Do they just can't think people are stupid? Yeah, they obviously think people are stupid.
People from quote tweeting, in which...
They've clearly never met anyone who goes on 4chan.
Got a number of people calling them out, for example, this one as well, saying, why is the Met Police using footage taken in 2020 and passing it off as footage from yesterday? Did they think we wouldn't notice? Shocking from an organization that has clearly been overtaken and politicized. By the way, here's something that's just hilarious.
Look at that building, it's so cool.
Tommy Robinson hired a helicopter to capture aerial footage of the London rally, in which some of the footage we already took a look at way earlier in the video. Here's the funny part.
Earlier.
Anticipating that the mainstream media would misreport the attendance figures, which he was spot on about because they certainly have been trying to massively downplay this rally, this protest. To which Tommy Robinson had directly also called out The Guardian right here via his Twitter account, saying The Guardian reported 110,000 at our London rally today, yet literally had their own helicopter showing the millions of patriots. Clown emoji.
Yeah, you gotta continue up north a little bit. It kind of goes back a little ways.
Legacy media proving again they'll just lie to your face for their own agenda. This is why nobody trusts them. We are the media now. Here's something funny. Check this out. Adam Schwartz, writer and political commentator, monitoring threats to democracy from authoritarianism and tech oligarchy, followed by stand up to racism.
Oligarchy? Hang on, I just don't know what that word is. Oligarchy. What does that mean? A small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institution. Okay.
And he is here crying about the Unite the Kingdom rally, going on to say, yesterday's far-right march should serve as a wake-up call for Starmer's government. The radicalization of the public cannot be halted by government echoing far-right.
I'm young, so a lot of like the political terms and stuff kind of just go right over my head. That's another reason. It's a reason I started doing stuff like this, is because I wanted to learn. I've learned so much. What is this? Malgi? That's another word I don't know. What is that? That word? Evil in nature or affect malevolent. Evil in nature. That's what it means.
Narratives. The government must insulate our democracy from the malign foreign interference of Elon Musk. Yeah, so this whack job is so upset at this peaceful protest that he's trying to get Starmer's government to crack down on the citizens and trying to say that it's just like, it's because of Elon Musk that this happened and the far right and all that. Like, bro is reaching so hard. This is such a desperate, empathetic look. He's getting called out all in the responses. For example, listen to the language you use. Far right, radicalization of the public. Do you ever think maybe people like you are the problem? Or do you just like to feel superior and sneer other people?
They blame everyone but
And
themselves.
These people are not far right. They're normal people who have had enough of people like you. In a different tweet from Adam Schwartz, he also tried to downplay the Unite the Kingdom rally, saying...
I mean, I did hear something from Asman a long time ago that I agree with. It was after President Trump got elected. He said, well, he quoted someone else, but never let your enemy know that they're making a mistake. So these people, I don't even think if we let them know, they're just too stubborn to get it. So they're just going to keep making the same mistake and then losing more and more support, and they just will never learn.
100,000 plus attendees.
Good for us. It's good for us, but yeah.
Now, he did put the plus there, but saying 1 million plus would be more accurate. And of course, going on to try and say this is just a gigantic far-right protest. And again, saying it was like led by Elon Musk in part as well. Yeah, so what actually happened is that Elon Musk in a video call spoke at the rally for like 15 minutes or so. Saying he was like leading the rally is such a ridiculous claim. Just nonsensical stretch right there. Nonsensical reach. And of course, you've also got The Guardian right below that.
I don't get his logic. All Elon does is tweet. That's all he does. Is he just like quote retweets something, and that's somehow leading to his fault for some certain thing. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Elon Musk. I think he's like he's fine, and his ideas I kind of agree a little bit on some of them, but overall I'm not his biggest fan. I think he's a crybaby, and he's a baby. He throws tantrums sometimes, but he's just stating common sense whenever he quote retweets something. That's literally all he does, and then people just have the audacity to say it's Elon Musk's fault that this is happening. It's cringe.
Once again, similarly, I should say, and once again, actually, calling the rally a far-right
the more they talk
rally or whatever. Similarly, Sky News was seen here trying to also say that there was only 150,000 people attending the Unite the Kingdom rally. We'll close with this. As more and more of these corrupt politicians and corpos try to lie about this rally, they'll fail over and over again because, as I said before, people have eyes. They can see what actually happened here and how these people in positions of power in the press and in Starmer's government just keep trying to lie about this. Similar to how certain people...
Does Britain have like states or not Britain, but all of it? Does Europe have like states and stuff, and each one has like their own flag? In America, we have 50 states. Well, technically it's 52, but we don't count 2 of the states for some reason. And each one has their own flag. So do they have that in Britain? I don't believe what your eyes see and what your ears hear. That's what they're essentially saying to people. Yeah, they just want people to be stupid.
People here in the States are lying about something that recently happened. But yeah, that's all I got to say in this one, guys. And my apologies if I'm a bit like tired throughout this video. I mentioned that like those 2 days off I took, I trained extra hard, and like, yeah, it's all kind of catching up to me today. So my energy is really low, but I do hope that this coverage was still pretty good. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate
I love Hero High. I love his videos. He's a really good content creator. Hang on, let me share this with my chats. There we go. Boop. Nice.